so much for having me.
How did you find it?
Man, that was really fun. Like, yeah, man. It's just, it's crazy. I still get mad nervous when performing.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like, just there, the crowd, like having a bunch of friends in the crowd as well helped, and just it was good energy. And like, there's a lot of times like there are good performances, but like what I define that as, that was just fun. Like, that was so fun for me, and that was like so entertaining. I hope the people enjoyed it.
Yeah, you look like you were having fun up there as well. The crowd fucking loved it, and it was just one of those ones where like everyone just brought together the last sort of hour of the night.
For sure.
It was packed in there.
Great to see.
A lot of good fun. So yeah, a couple of questions we like to ask the performers that come through. Just a couple quick random ones. So one I like to start with, one recent trend you can't stand.
I don't know if this is like recent enough, but those feeler shoes, the big
Disruptors.
I hate those. I don't know if that, I mean that's kind of like 3 years. I don't know if that's recent enough.
It's fairly recent.
But those shoes annoy me. But like, yeah, that was the first thing. Yeah, those. I'll go with it.
What's the biggest L you've taken in terms of like musically or any kind of performance or anything like that?
There were like a bunch of times that I put like, I mean like way back, not so much recently, but like I remember like first lockdown 2020, that was like a big project that I was really working on like all throughout lockdown. I was really putting onto it, and it just bricked, so like it just flopped.
Yeah.
And like that was like, it was crazy because that like hurt like a lot then, because like when you put a lot of time and like you put emotions into like your work and then like no one's messing with it, it's crazy. But when I look back on it, like that was one of the defining moments in my thing, and one of the moments that put me on the right path. And that's what I like I don't really like to talk of like, I mean obviously like you take L's and stuff, but like I always say that L's are just experience, it's just XP. I'm leveling up. Every time you L, like you're learning.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah. Sometimes
and, like,
you win, sometimes
you lose, and like bro, and like if you mess up, you do something wrong, if you get done dirty or something bad happens, like there's a lesson there. So, but like, yeah, I put out an album in 2020 called 01, and it's not, I mean you can't even find it anymore. I took it down now, but it sucked and it bricked, and now that's probably my biggest musical L. But there are a bunch of those. Actually, you take it.
of course you have to.
Making music isn't easy. Like people like look at this like rapping thing and think that it's like an easy or quick way to money. And A, there's not that much money in it, and B, there's like until you're super big, and B, it's just it's hard. Like mentally, psychologically, it's arduous. Like
this is something that me and the team have talked about before. When it comes to like people thinking that they see something on Instagram, and they're like, oh, I could do that, and then before you know it, 50, 100, thousands of people try and think they'll go down the fast route.
Yeah, man. There is no fast route, because it's not like when you're small, there's the difficulties of being small, like songs not hitting, people not picking you up, people not paying attention, and then if you suddenly get big and you have attention, then you have the pressures of being successful, the pressure of being big and having eyes on you and not being able to make mistakes once you have an audience or fan base and stuff like that. So like whether you're big, small, in the middle, like music is difficult. Like it's a taxing thing. I mean, of course I'm grateful and I love doing it and I wouldn't want to do anything else, but like, yeah, man, those are a part of music and everything as well. And music.
And on the flip side of that, the biggest W you've taken so far?
It has to be Artrix blowing up on TikTok. Like, yeah, it'd have to be like, because that was just.
You hit the nail on the head in terms of that there's a group of people that just got ride for that brand.
And we really felt that when we dropped that song, but that I made that song in January. Me and Loza shot the video in February. Shout out Loza, shout out Juice one produced it, shout out Hostile Vintage who provided a lot of the clothing in the video. But we shot that video in February and we released it in March, and like it was doing insane, and we were like, oh, this song could go on TikTok, and we tried to push it on TikTok back in March.
What 2020?
March 2021.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So we tried to push it back in March 2021 when we dropped it, because that song's old, and like it didn't really pick up nothing. But the song was also doing well, and I remember in November it hit 100K, and that was my biggest song, and I was like, yo, this is insane. And that hit 100K before TikTok, and then in December, like suddenly just skyrocketed.
That must be a mad feeling.
That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to see. Like you can try to push something, and you try to engineer something, and then 9 months later it can happen without your own thing. Like we had no input in that. Like it happened on its own, and the internet just gravitated towards it when it was its time. And sometimes songs have their own timeline, and you even see it on like with these apps like TikTok and stuff. Like songs from like the 80s, 90s, 7 years ago, whenever, 3 years ago, viral, coming back and go viral. So like you can drop a song and it not be, you can think, oh, the song didn't do as well I wanted to do, and it not be its time yet, and it come back 9 months later, 9 years later,
Like
20
St.
years.
John, he did Roses in 2016,
Yeah, man.
but didn't blow up until 2020.
There's a lot of songs that
Sleeper
come.
hit.
And the sleepers, exactly. So
Yeah,
the internet works on its own time, and then you can't pick when the people will tap in and all that stuff. So
Shouts out to Pass Down. I know
shout out to, yeah, man. Yeah,
my
man.
friend, he does Inside Tag.
Okay,
So it's like we
brilliant.
shared up the space together.
Yeah, man.
Small world, man. Small. Last day on Earth. Who are you spending it with, and what are you going to be doing?
One person, people.
You can do a group of people.
It's gotta be family though, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. It's gotta be family. Last day on Earth, bro. I'm praying, man. I'm praying for forgiveness. I can't go to hell, bro. I'm praying I go to heaven, man. I'm repenting for all my sins. That's like, yeah, man. If the war's ending, bro, you can catch me in the church. I swear. Nah, real life. But yeah, man. Family. It's gotta be family.
Everything. And the last question: if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
Find God. Those are my 2 words. Find God. Find God. Whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you. Find God. I sound like Kanye there, but find God, whatever that means. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's, yeah. I'll go with that.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you for everything.
Massive love. There you go.
Yeah, man. That's it for my team.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Shout out Shakes Platform one more time. Yeah, man. My name is YT. Thank you so much for having me.